Bellow on the bellow on the bellow. Bellow on the bellow on the bellow.
Yeah, the real shop talk. Just come and take a listen. Some grown men with unbiased and honest opinions, and with no agendas, so you just gotta check it. Talking love and life from a male perspective. We keep it authentic, real, no filter. Leave a comment, be part of the show. We here to give you 5 gentlemen's views about manhood, no doubt. This the show you've been needing, yeah, it's the real shop talk. Let's go.
Hey everybody, we back. It's another Monday at 8 p.m. The Real Shop Talk. We are live and we have some guests. We have some more people that's coming that's going to join us on stage in a few minutes. You know, you notice a couple of folks missing. But tonight is Ladies Night. Every second Tuesday, every second Monday of the month, we do Ladies Night and we invite ladies on to get their opinions because we don't want to be an echo chamber here. We want to make sure that we get their opinions. And we're glad you're here. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube page, click the bell, click the thumb if you like what you hear tonight, so we can, go against those algorithms and build our channel. What I want to do, I'm going to play musical chairs here real quick so we can have the ladies together so they can have a unified front. So normally what we would do, and tonight we're going to talk about gender roles and chivalry. Are they dead? Are they on life support? The traditional things that we're used to, are people still doing them, or does it look a little funny now? So the first thing I'm going to do tonight, my first chivalrous thing I'm going to do, is we're going to introduce the ladies first instead of introducing ourselves. So because I can't see the other one, we're going to start with Shelby. Shelby Patrice, tell us who you are and a little bit about what you do.
Well, my name is Shelby Patrice. I am from Miami, Florida. Went to college at Kentucky State University. I was previously Miss Texas US in 2016, and now I am a business owner of Budget University, which teaches financial literacy in the school system, and we create curriculums to get kids to get financial knowledge.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, what school did you say you went to?
I went to the Kentucky State University. Yeah.
So next up, we have Jody Dentley.
Hi, I'm Jody Dentley. I'm actually currently a content creator. You can follow me at Jody Vids. I do mostly funny material online. So Jody Vids, JODEEVIDS. I am a content creator. Business-wise, I work for a forensic accounting firm. But I am also from South Florida, so I can relate to you there, Shelby.
Yes, I am.
It is so nice to meet you guys.
You too.
Thank you. So I'm going to do, we'll do like a really super quick, because some people may be on here that haven't been on here before. So I'll start with myself. My name is Derek Jones. I'm a certified life and relationship coach, and I'm also the host of the Relationship Gump.
Oh, seems like he froze. So I'll just jump right in. I am I am Gunter Man. I'm the host of the Gunter Man Show every Thursday night on Instagram Live at 7:30. John Singletary, what about you?
I'm tripping. He is totally frozen over there. That's amazing. And the rest of us are still on. So that's the part. I'm John Singletary. I'm the host of the Help Myself podcast, and just happy to be here. And we're gonna see what the ladies have to tell us about chivalry being dead and gender roles being deceased.
My boy is frozen. Like he frozen. My name is Tony Massey, and I love Ladies Night because I like Derek said, what I love about Ladies Night is it prevents echo chambers, and I am not a fan of echo chambers. There he is. He's back. I'm not a fan of echo chambers. I like to make sure that we are giving a holistic and whole view of the opinion. So don't be timid, ladies. If we wrong, say we wrong. All right, Mr. Freeze.
So,
you.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. You know me. I get a little upset when the technical stuff don't work, but we in here. So everybody in the comments, welcome. We see you coming in. Make sure that you comment, ask questions if you need to, and we're going to get right into it. So the way I'm going to frame this out, is we're gonna talk about chivalry first, and then we'll segue into gender roles. And I know some of this stuff kind of touches, but I want to try to focus on chivalry because I think the gender role topic is going to be a little more, going to take a little more time. So the question on the floor is a general question, and you can answer, however your opinion is. But do you think that chivalry is actually like something that is kind of dying as we sit in 2021? It's just a very short question, short answer. Then we're going to get into the meat in a minute. So Shelby, it's on you. Do you think it's dead? You think people stopped doing it?
No.
You don't think it's dead? Okay. Nope. Okay. So, Jody.
Yes.
You think it is dead?
I don't think it's dead.
Oh, you don't think it's dead? Okay.
I think it's individual.
Gotcha. Gentlemen, we don't necessarily have to go one by one, but if anybody want to chime in on that.
For myself, I think that it's still live, but I also understand that being an entertainer and traveling to so many different parts of the globe, it's really defined by culture a lot of times. Mm-hmm. It's defined by what that particular culture deems normal, what their habits are, and then you go from there. But here in the United States, I think it's still alive and popping. For myself, I just love that element of interacting with people.
Anybody else want to take a stab at it?
I think it's very much alive. Not only do I think it's alive, I think it's making a comeback.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't think that the younger generation understands it as much, because I feel like it will only die if we're not teaching it to our children and the teenagers. Right. Because the relationships for the younger kids now is just trash, personally. I just think that their value system is different. And I think if we're not teaching our children how to behave in relationships, and obviously adults are being a little ratchet these days, if I'm allowed to use that word, in relationships, and I think it's okay for a woman to be chivalrous as well.
Interesting. Tony Watts, you got anything, or are you still getting situated?
I'm still getting situations, but I got something though. I just got through having this conversation about women being chivalrous. So I am 100% component on hearing that. And I truly believe that. All right, here's my take on the whole chivalry thing. All right, and I don't know how deep you guys got into it so far. I think it is alive, but I think that, as a young lady said, that we need to begin to teach the young people how it works. I think now it's a quid pro quo type of relationship thing. What I do for you, you do for me. So if you listen to the manosphere, they're arguing like, if I open the door for her, she's gonna think I'm too nice, so I don't want to do it. So again, it's that whole dynamic of teaching the younger generation where we should go and what we should do. So I'm gonna land that right there.
Yeah, because they have this word called simp. I might be too old to really understand it.
That was the next bullet point.
We all simps, by the way.
Yeah, we all simps up here.
Hey, y'all speak for yourself.
I'm saying, except for John Singletary.
I ain't a simp.
I'm sorry, what was the word?
Simp.
Oh.
I know, it's a new thing. I had to really learn how it's being used because my son uses it all the time.
Hey, Tony Massey, can you take the definition of simp?
So the concept is that a simp is the opposite of a pimp. So that's how it originated, but it's been acquired by the manosphere to describe a man who will display his emotions to a woman, who will spend money on a woman, who will basically court a woman openly and allow himself to deal with her emotional ups and downs. He basically just he displays his emotion when dealing with women, as opposed to cutting off the emotion, getting what he wants from her, and staying, emotionally, what's the word?
Available?
No, unavailable. That would be the opposite of a simp. So a simp would be someone who is emotionally available. So again, the definition has changed so much, and it's become used so often that now it's hard to keep up with what simping actually is.
Right. My
Got it.
12-year-old uses that word, and
Oh wow.
I try to understand, how are you using that? They use it in school. So I think that because it's so
Wow.
popular and it has such a negative connotation, that it would prevent chivalry sometimes with the younger people. You know what I mean? Because now it's bad. So I mean, but chivalry is absolutely healthy.
What blows my mind right now by you saying that is that not only are little boys growing up thinking that girls are icky and they got to get past that stage, girls are icky, but now they're getting older and now hearing simp.
Yes.
Like, whoa, where they can now start to feel connected to the girl and be daring enough to write a little Valentine's Day letter. Now you're hearing simp. What?
Yep.
Waxing worse and worse. But people like us, we are here to stand in the gap, to share our opinions, to echo it out, to teach our kids, to demonstrate for people this way of being. Because I believe that good will continue to outshine darkness over and over again. So as you play your position, you're going to teach. Now, what comes to mind for myself, and I'll try not to rattle too long, but I took my daughter out on a date to show her how a guy should treat her. Like, let's go on play dates. We're going to go on date. I'll take you out to a restaurant. We're going to dress up a little nicer, and I'm going to take you on a journey from holding the door to be walking on the outside of the sidewalk, like these holding the chair and sliding it out. Like, she wouldn't know that unless somebody teaches it to her. When someone needs to teach it to her. So I'm definitely proactive when it comes to that. Because when I date, being a single guy, I make sure whether it's comfortable to them or not, this is how I'm showing up, because this is who I am and this is how I've been taught. And now you tell me something different for you and you find it offensive. I would love to hear the angle of me showing some level of honor and respect towards you as offensive. Please, you could explain that to me. So I'll stay right there.
Gunner Man, I have a question for you. I get the intent, and I think it's a very valiant intent. But do you think on some level you're setting her up for failure because you are introducing her to a man that doesn't exist anymore? And the reason I say that is because you're setting the bar not just high, but at a place where it's not even achievable, because now she's looking for a man who is connected to those old school values enough to do those things, where I don't know that that's not the definition of chivalry anymore. And let me give you an example. I'll never forget the first time I told my grandfather I had gotten someone's number, and he was just appalled that I got a girl's number and I planned to call this girl's house. And he was like, that is not how you do that. You're supposed to write her a letter to her address. You're supposed to ask her permission to come over on a Sunday afternoon when her parents are there and sit on the porch and court her. And it isn't until you're in a relationship that you can actually call her. And so he was speaking from a vantage point that was actually, obviously very antiquated. But for him, I was violating code because I was going about things the wrong way. So as much as I love what you did, and I think your daughter probably benefited a lot from it, do we also, as fathers and older men, owe it to our younger, especially our daughters, to explain that there may be some intent that doesn't match the behavior? I don't know.
I got you covered with that one, Tony Massey. Once again, as culture evolves, we continue to adapt to the new cultures. We adapt to these new cultures. I set a beautiful standard for my daughter to stand by, but she's living with those people of her age. So she is doing a balancing act and figuring out what's right and what's wrong. She can get my information because, like how you say your grandpa gave you information from his time, I'm giving her information on my time, but she's living in her now. And since I, as a father, continue to travel with her, like I didn't just teach the lesson and let it end right there. I'm journeying with her. I have set up an environment for my daughter to freely speak about the things that she's dealing with, because I always gave her the understanding that Even though in the situation may seem uncomfortable to tell your dad, I would rather you have my wisdom to lean on and to pull from than one of your friends. Even if like when she got to college age and now she's dating guys that are like, maybe she's in, now she might be close dealing with guys that may be 25 out of college now. And I said, well, baby girl, I don't mind you sharing stuff with me because I would rather when you're going through the slew of confusion or trying to organize your thoughts on what you think is right for you, I would love to have my experiential knowledge and words of truth and understanding about life in the midst of your selection. Does she have to choose it? No, but she can pull from it whenever she sees fit. Because I, as a father, not only journeyed with her what I think is a great standard for her to go with, but I'm also traveling with her throughout her relationships, making it comfortable for her to speak her truth. So for me, I think it's best. Even though if it doesn't exist in her time, but she's living in her time, she knows what's real and what's not real, what's available and not what's available. That's easy. That's simple. But I'm setting up a guideline on what I thought, what I believe is the right way to be. And since my believing is there, it will be available to her. That's my believing.
You could
just real quick. Wait. So
agree.
since we have so many people on the stage, can everybody mute when they're not talking? Because there's some background noise happening that people are saying. So my bad, Tony.
No, I was just saying he could have just said, I disagree, Tony. He had to be so eloquent in his response to me tearing apart my argument. I mean, that's what this is supposed to be about. I'm in my feelings.
It's cool. So I'm going to read another comment to go ahead and push that narrative along, Tony. So Lolita says, no, I disagree, Tony. He does exist or he can be taught.
I didn't say he doesn't exist. I said that he possibly doesn't exist, meaning that in the course of her dating, is she going to run into that guy as often as she'll run into the guy who the beat guy who just says get in the car, you know what I mean, or the honk guy who.
Oh wait. Okay, so I have a short video clip that kind of speaks to that. But I also want to read this question. We'll do this question and then I'll do the clip and then we can come back and give feedback. Lisa Russell says, do you think it's the young independent females that don't even notice someone opening the door?
Go ahead, Shelby.
No. The problem with the opening the door and the opening the door and you going first, or you're at a restaurant and he allows you to order your food first or anything like that. Honestly, it can be taught. It can be taught, but the question is it going to be applied? So my father has done the same thing that he did for his daughter. My dad got in the car, ran around, came to the block, knocked on the door. My mother answered, "May I please speak with Shelby?" Whole whoopsie whoop, all that stuff. But the question is, when you go off to college and you're this independent woman that you think you are, because you're actually finding yourself. The question is, in the search of finding yourself, are you going to now apply what was taught to you while you were being raised? So now that I'm there and it's like, oh, the opening the door. Oh, he didn't open the door for me. You could think about that. But at the same time, I feel like closed mouths don't get fed as well. I've had an ex-boyfriend where he had a hard upbringing. He didn't know about opening the doors and all that stuff. And I told him the second date, I said, I'm not coming out of this house unless you come and you knock on this door and you open the door for me. And ever since then, he started doing that. We didn't work out. He got into another relationship, got married. And she said to me, "Are you Shelby?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "I'm not even going to lie to you. He talks about how he treated you and how you demanded to be treated with respect, and everything that you've taught him, he does. And I commend you, girlfriend." And I was like, "Girl, have it." She was like, "He's awesome." I was like, and that's how it should be. But he didn't have that. He wasn't taught that. So I feel like it's not about being this independent woman. It's you can be independent, but still not know your worth. It happens all the time. I'm independent. I got this. I got a job. I got this. But yet you're going home and you're doing everything under the sun for a man that doesn't even know how to say thank you. I appreciate you. I know I don't have it right now at X, Y, and Z. And then it comes to the table being set. And that's what, personally, from my opinion, that's what's wrong with this generation. He has to have a 401k. He has to drive a Bentley. He got to have a 6-pack. He has to hang with this type of status. But what do you do, girl? And that's where females get it mixed up too. It can't just be the male. It has to be the female as well. And that's where I personally have had experience for. I've been to, I've had a therapist. She took me out of the dating scene for a whole 2 years because I didn't know my worth. And I was like, why do I keep dating these men that are trash? Because we need to sit down and discuss things. And that's where it comes in at.
Yeah, I'm gonna play this little clip that kind of speaks to a lot of what we just talked about. So well, anyway, it's a TikTok video. So just hold on 1 second. Here it comes.
Baby, I'm not getting out the car.
I'll open your doors. You don't
No.
come and get in. No, get
Babe,
out. No, baby, get
let's
out.
go.
Get out.
Baby, I'm hungry.
Get out. I'm
Come
gonna
on,
drag you out here
love.
right now.
Are you for real?
Get out. Get out.
Because I opened
Yes,
my own
ma'am.
door.
Yes, ma'am.
That ass.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Now you can get back in. Hold on.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Get in there.
Thank you, baby.
Sit that booty there.
Thank you.
Sit that booty down.
Thank you, kind sir.
Love you.
I
See,
love
I'm
you,
happy.
baby. Okay, baby. What? I love him. But because I opened my own door?
Yes, we don't do that.
All of that?
I open the door. We don't. There's no you open the doors.
Okay.
No matter what. So.
Yes, sir. Aye, aye, Captain.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Always
sir.
Remember that.
Always and forever.
Always forever.
Any reactions?
She didn't know her worth. She wasn't used to it. She's never had it. You can't be mad at her. Like, you can, when that happens, like, did he just bring flour? Girl, that's something you go home and you're on a 5-way, not 3-way conversation. You're on a 5-way conversation with your girls and like, he opened the door for me. Because you've never had that. And you're now realizing, like, I used to date trash. Like, I have, like, he leads. He's a provider. Like, he's leading the way. No, I'm going to open the door for you. So for me, for him telling her, get out of the car, was a way of him saying, absolutely not. I'm about to introduce you to something else. And that's what he did.
Yeah, I'm a chime in real quick because in my illustrious dating career, I think I've met all of these women, and they would literally be pissed. Like when I would do, the whole thing about who walks on the curb on the sidewalk. Like a couple of them was like, "What the hell are you doing? Are you trying to control how I walk?" I was like, "Whoa, whoa!" That whole video right there. I've done that too many times to count. Like, why do you need to open my door? I could do it myself. And I'm like, that's not how I had to do the same thing he did. But I didn't do it and like feel a way about her. Because normally what they would say, like you said, Shelby, they'd say, no one's ever done this for me before. So I don't even know what it feels like to even get this treatment. So I'm going to land there.
Massey, I see your face. Go.
So there's two things.
Release the Kraken.
There's a fine line between setting the expectation and being controlling. What I saw was not someone who was setting the expectation. What I saw was someone who was trying to control the situation. To me, the better approach would have been, hey, it really means a lot to me to open your door. So in the future, if you don't mind, let me open your door for you. But to demand that she get, and I mean, this was a very playful situation, so I don't want to make more of it than it actually was. But at the same time, we got to be very careful about how we display masculinity. That's one part. The other part that really irked me was her resistance to behavior that she actually desired. I wish more women talk to other women about accepting and rewarding behavior that you want repeated. She's sitting here fighting this man saying, what are you talking about? Because I opened my door. Oh my God. And then when he actually did what she wanted him to do and he closed the door, she celebrates him outside of his ability to hear her. And that's problematic for me because I ended a whole relationship with someone because I never received words of affirmation. I never heard how she felt. Everyone else did. When we broke up, it was all of her friends came out of, girl, he loved you. I mean, she loved you. So, okay, but she never said that to me. So I didn't know where I stood with her, right? So you're telling everybody but me. You're telling TikTok but you won't tell him. So to me, if that's the behavior you want, then reward the behavior and allow the behavior, and then it will repeat. But don't push back on something that you are celebrating in private or outside of his ability to hear it. And even when he got in the car, she continued, all that because I didn't open my door. You obviously enjoyed it. You celebrated it. So why are you punishing me now by making it seem like I'm doing too much, right? So that whole situation to me was just like, I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you why it didn't add up to you. You want to know why?
Sure.
Because it's a different generation. Everything has to be recorded. So that was a scene that she had to make. So that's what it was for. Okay. So if it was for somebody else, like, oh my God, like if you would have said the way you said it, like, I like to open the door for you, X, Y, and Z. But as you can, the way I saw it was she made a scene, he reacted, and they kept it going. And then she kept it playing. Oh my God, I love it, because you also said the key word, TikTok. That's basically what this is about, is social media. And that's another thing about what all of this is for. Because somebody in her generation said, girl, this is so cute. Boo, look at this video. Do you see what he did? They think that's cute. And that's how they communicate. That's how relationships nowadays, they communicate. It's the TikTok. It's the funny videos. It's talking to each other crazy. And that's just how it is. Is it right? For you, it might not be, but for them, it is. Because that's their love language. That's the way they communicate.
Tell us how you really feel, Shelby.
You don't want to know.
I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna mess with you.
That's why we got you on the show. We want to know, man.
Anybody else want to chime in?
Every week, we want to hear a different voice. No, I'm just playing.
You're looking at a generation of kids that grew up with the internet. Like, unlike if you're of a particular age, 35 and older, if you're of a particular age, you know what it's like to go outside and to be raised by your family at home and your neighborhood. You know what it's like to be raised by your neighborhood. When the lights come on, you better get your butt home. When the street lights come on, get your butt, depending on where you live, right? When the lights come on, you get your butt home.
No cell phone.
Right. You knew, and you were manipulated and swayed. You developed your language that you spoke, your twang, by your community. The kids nowadays are raised with YouTube, where they're hearing different versions, different opinions from across the world, from around the globe. So it's no longer just your neighborhood and family raising you. You're a product of society as a whole via the internet. And that stuff is a lot different than what your neighborhood values are. So you're now going from a place where, if I can, I'm on my first date. Come on. I'm on my first date, sitting next to the girl, and what? I remember being in Trinidad, because I travel a lot. So being in Trinidad, and there was a couple at a restaurant sitting at the bar on a date, young guy, young girl. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, they're not even talking. No, I have to do something. I walked over there and I had this amazing conversation with them. I said, guys, you have so much time to be on your phone when you're alone. You have so much time to be on your phone when you're alone. Wouldn't you like to hear what's on that other person's mind right now? Wouldn't you want to hear about the things they have planned for the future? Wouldn't you want to hear so you can converse and connect with them on what matters to them right now? But no, their comfort zone is looking at and every now and then having a word, ordering their food. I watch for a while just to make sure, because I am, some guy walking over having a conversation with my American accent, and I'm saying, just gently, finding a gentle way like this. And they did it. They put down their phones. They don't have to listen to me, but I just made sense to them that wouldn't you want to hear? But no, it's hard. It doesn't register. I've spoken to girls in these recent times that says they don't even like to talk on the phone. They would rather text. Imagine your whole relationship communicating back and forth with you interpreting what tone the person means in a text. But that's a breakup via text. Remember back in the days, I was like, insane. What, you broke up with me via text? So it is a really different world. But you know what? Our parents would say that about our world. Our parents would say the same thing about our world. Because what happened to the men and women of ages 30 and 40, where they already had a sound job? Where we live in a culture where people our age need to be 35, 40, in your 50s, you're still trying to find yourself. And that's norm. Like, how does that work? How do you go from a working generation who had just sound job at their age? You know, because when I'm remembering as being that little 12-year-old kid looking up at my dad and my mom and like, you know, hey, you know, they're that particular age. No, they were in their early 40s. They're late 30s, early 40s, and they had a job, a sound situation. And so it's a different world from what my parents to where we were. And so it's a different world from we are to where these kids are today. You going to say something, Shelby?
You know, what you just said was absolutely correct and right. But from the outside looking in, and as a person that sees a lot, your key words were, and I by all means necessary, I don't want to disrespect absolutely nobody. That's never my intentions. This is always what I see. So this is just a disclaimer. This is what I see.
Speak freely.
This is what I see. Your key words, Lord, forgive me for your key words were mom and dad and how you grew up. Unfortunately, through statistics, a lot of people aren't growing up in two-parent households to observe that and to see that. And that has a lot of reflection on a lot of things. We can dig deeper, but that has a reflection on a lot of things.
Very, very true.
Since Shelby brought it up, and it's true, but there's a lot of parents who are parenting as well. So if a kid is being parented by their electronics, then we get the same result. We get kids trying to navigate a space that they're learning from each other, and none of them know what they're doing. It's the blind leading the blind. But Rick, I commend you for having the courage to step into that situation and have that conversation with that young couple, because they absolutely needed it, and hopefully they really got something out of it. But when we talk about chivalry and this topic today, I think we hit the nail on the head. Is that if we're not teaching the younger generation what to do, and that's one of the reasons why we have this platform. This platform is to reach out to the younger generation and let them know that they have a team of individuals that want to see them succeed, and they don't have to trip over all of this manosphere stuff and this womansphere stuff. They can actually open a car door for a young lady and feel proud about doing that, and being emotionally available and being proud about doing that. And we'll teach them how to navigate through that. I just wanted to say that real quick. I have a lot of thoughts, but let's get into it.
You want to say something, Jody?
Yeah, I wanted to say, because my son is living in a blended family right now. So I'm a single mom, and his dad, he lives with his dad. And I teach my son, to open the door. He opens the door for me sometimes when I don't, and his father teaches him as well. And I was going to say, Gunnerman, I think it is valuable in relation to what Tony was asking you. I think, yes, it is valuable. I'm kind of going back a little bit for fathers to teach their daughters aspects of worth, because even though, like Shelby was saying, yeah, when we get into our own age, some things we may forget. Some things we may not apply immediately, but I feel like sometimes it does come back to mind. And a lot of times, like you were saying, sometimes in our 40s and our 30s, we're still trying to find ourselves, or maybe there were some aspects we didn't learn about worth. And sometimes there are some things for men that we need to understand, that we need to look for as we age, to say that that's, they're not kind of showing your worth. You know what I mean? Chivalry to me is like, it's like a love language. Some people like to do for other people, like I like to do for other people as a woman. You know what I mean? I can pick your shoes up off the floor. I can open the door for you, but will a man be offended by that? Is chivalry only gender based? You know what I mean? Is it only based on the man? Now, I do understand the respect of it. I feel like every woman is different. I appreciate chivalry. If you open the door for me, I will allow you to open the door for me. I'm grateful for that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be stink with it and be like, you know what I mean? But I am grateful for that. And I think that it is. But I also think that people that don't learn it at an early age can learn it through experience, like Shelby's ex-boyfriend. You know what I mean? People that don't get the experience of it in a household that maybe not understand chivalry that you teach to your children, they learn it from relating to other people and other women and other men. You know what I mean? And I think that love covers everything. I think that when you love someone, you're open to teaching them some things that maybe they didn't understand before. You know what I mean? And I think that that's how chivalry stays alive. When you teach your kids, but then also teaching someone that you're with, you know what I mean? And teaching them respect, because people respect you with how you show them how you want to be respected. You know what I mean? So
that was an excellent segue into gender roles. So
yes, sir.
I have another video clip, but I'm gonna save that until after this. The general question is, I guess it's better said as the gender roles that I guess we would call traditional gender roles, and is that something that is starting to dissipate as we go through these decades? Because our society is kind of, and this is just me talking from what I see, this is not necessarily my opinion. It's as we start to kind of, I hate to even say it, move to a more gender fluid society. So the first question is, it's kind of similar to the chivalry question. Do we think that we're losing a part of those traditional roles? And then we'll follow that with a question is, do we think that they're viable in the way that they were back in the day today? Does it still fit? So we'll start with Jody.
What do you define as gender roles? You mean like the husband works and the woman stays home and cooks kind of thing? That gender role? Like, what do you define?
So here's the thing, right? And that I'll put these two together, because what I see other people say, right? They'll say, well, gender roles are relegated to chore lists. Like this is what the men are supposed to do, the woman's supposed to cook, and all of these, right? You can look at it in that sense. So people define it different ways, right? Some people will say this is what the man's supposed to do, this is what the woman's supposed to do. That lends itself to even what we talked about with chivalry. The man is supposed to open the door for the woman and these type of things as defined roles, right? And we know that and we talk about this a lot on the show about the whole, woman, women are now in the workforce and making money and all of that stuff. So a lot of these things that we used to hold near and dear, that the environment is different. Do we still hold on to those traditional, I guess, things that we say a man is supposed to be and do versus a woman? Do we evolve into something new to fit the times?
Can I say something?
Yep.
Okay, so I think that I think every situation is dependent on your own relationship. And I can't tell you how to handle your own household. Personally, I feel like there's no such thing as specifically gender roles. It's a partnership. And I think that you have to work out what works for your household. I do believe both people have to give in order for it to work. It can't just be, well, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. There has to be some level of understanding. For, you know, I may go into a relationship where I may be making more money than he's making. Then what? You know what I mean? Are we still going to stick to the gender roles on that? I think that that's why, you know, when you go online and people are like, oh, relationship goals, and then I was like, but you don't really know what's going on in their relationship at all. It could be terrible. You know what I mean? You make your relationship what it is. And I do 100% believe that a woman should bring something to the table for whatever. If a man decides, and I could be wrong, to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to do this, you don't have to worry about that. But again, it all depends on the relationship, where you are, where he is. That's how I feel about that. You know what I mean? I don't think that we are living in a different time. You know, back in the 40s and the 30s, it was typical for a woman to stay home with the apron and she had the vacuum. Hey, honey, you know, again, there is nothing wrong with that. If that's how your life looks now and it's working and everyone's happy, great. I'm 41. I'm of the mindset right now of peace. You know what I mean? What makes our relationship fruitful, peaceful, and happy? You know, one thing I believe that sometimes we have these unwanted expectations of each other that are not said to each other. And we're not here to talk about relationships specifically, but you know what I mean? I just feel like every relationship is of its own. And I feel like there should be give and take in something, and whatever is agreed between both parties.
Anybody else want to take a stab at it before we move to the next section?
I think she hit it on the head, to be honest. Like, for me, my house is my peace. So if it's peaceful that you cook because I get home at a later time, then you cook. If it's gonna be peaceful, I feel like it doesn't matter. I know relationships where my girlfriends are stronger in the finances, so they're stronger in the finances. I know, you know, there's relationships where it's like he's better at cleaning than I am, or you know, all that stuff. So I feel like it's more of a team effort, because at the end of the day, if something was to happen to me, what are you going to do? If something was to happen to you, what am I going to do? So I feel like it's important to just, like she said, whatever works for your house, to me, it's just like a roommate, or if you're helping a friend out, if this is a good one, because it's like, say you're helping a friend out. Hey, you can stay with me. Don't worry about it. Just get on your feet. You're gonna be like, you let me stay here rent free and that's it, just so I can get on my feet. Yeah. So the right thing to do, well, heck, at least I could pay for the groceries, something like that. It's like a give or take, but I feel like it's like she said, whatever works for the house or for you is, I don't know.
I just think it's teamwork. I think it's teamwork, but I think
that's exactly what it is. Teamwork.
It's teamwork, and I think both people though have to be on the same understanding, because some men or women might think that aspect is wrong and that you belong here and you need to do this, and coming out of the old mindset, like you were talking about, Derek, of where we came from, the old school, Tony. Some people still have that, and they may 100%, it may be cutting across the grain that, like, you know, like, you should be doing this, and you know, that teamwork aspect may not work for them. But I 100% have seen and understand that, like Shelby was saying, you know, there has to be some understanding and there's some level of compromise in a marriage, in a relationship, or whatever kind of relationship it is. You know, it has to work. There has to be openness. There has to be that fluid communication, however uncomfortable it is. you know, and like Shelby was saying, if somebody sucks at doing something, you need to have that conversation and be like, babe, we need to talk about this because you're not really doing a good job with the money. You know, maybe I should do it. You know what I mean? Or, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's not, we're not cleaning, you know, whatever it is. I mean, I don't want to get into the itchy part.
I mean, I have a question. Whose ear is John whispering in about some what? I missed that part. What was said in whose ear?
So
Yeah,
Love
I
Tucker
was
said.
confused too. I was like, who is whispering?
Love Tucker said, "I'm gonna read it and hopefully it'll you know, partnerships are different, yes, but I need hold on, it scrolled up. Hold on, I need John to whisper in the ear of whomever I end up with." John said he don't even want his wife to know they got bills. I don't. So this is what I think it means. I'm gonna play Rosetta Stone. John had mentioned at some point that he don't even want his wife to know they have bills. So when she finds her man, he wants him to let that guy know that you need to let her know that she don't need to worry about the bills.
Yeah, because
before they even get started.
Ear am I supposed to be whispering in? This don't feel right. I feel violated.
What do they say? Pause. So look.
Let me say this. I think we confuse roles and responsibilities. Cleaning, cooking, these are life skills that everyone should have. If you don't know how to cook for yourself, you don't know how to clean your house, and you're waiting for someone to come into your life in order for you to have a clean house or eat a good meal, then you don't have life skills, right? But I do believe that there are roles that we play in life. Like as a father, that's a role that I play. It's a position that I play. And along with that role comes certain responsibilities. But the responsibilities are not just specific to the role, and the role is not always specific to the responsibilities. I happen to be the cook in my house because I love to cook, but that's a responsibility. That's a life skill. That has nothing to do with my role as the husband and the man of the house. When I think of a role, I think of what part do I play on the day-to-day of my marriage, right? Part of my role is to make provisions. So I work so that I can bring money into the home. But that doesn't mean that my wife can't work, shouldn't work, doesn't have to work or whatever, because we're at a time where, and this is one thing we have to keep in perspective, we're at a time where work is not so much about making money only. Now passion is tied to profession. There was a time you got a job at the steel mill because the steel mill is hiring, and you just stayed there for 25 years, and then you got a retirement. You don't have a passion for steel. That's who was hiring. You know what I mean? That's how, but now we have the opportunity to actually pursue passion through our profession. So to say you don't have to work, that's a beautiful thing, because it gives you opportunity to pursue other things or whatever the case may be. But to say you can't work or you shouldn't work because bringing in money is my responsibility, that's closed-minded thinking, and you're not married to a whole person. I saw this great meme that said, look for a man who wants to be a husband, not one who just wants a wife, right? You have to understand that being a husband, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that, but there's also a role that you have to play in your wife's life. And that role is to be a provider, not just a financial provider, but an emotional provider, a spiritual provider. There's a whole gamut of things. Now, because my wife and I, if you stood us next to each other, you would see that we are two very different. My wife is tiny, like tiny, right? And I'm not. So if the Uber man comes to the door, no, you're not going to the door to get the Uber Eats. I'm going to, because when I open the door, he's gonna think twice if he has some nefarious, whatever. But that's just a part of me providing protection. Now, my wife protects me as well. My wife has an MBA in finance. You've heard me say this over and over again. She protects me from myself. She lets me know that if you spend all of your money, you won't have any money to spend. So she puts me on a budget, and I submit to her expertise, that which she has earned through education and through trial and error and through whatever. I submit to that, but I don't surrender my role as a husband just because she has the responsibility of being in charge of our finances. I'm still the man of my house. You know what I'm saying? I didn't give up anything. I just yielded to her expertise. And so we have to be very careful about this idea that men do this and women do that. Women did what they did because it's all they could do. We're not there anymore. And it gets me really frustrated, this notion that when we have this conversation in certain areas, this notion that if there was a Thanos snap and every man disappeared, the whole world would fall apart because women can't, support the infrastructure and all this other crap. That is not true. And we proved this. We have empirical evidence of this from World War II. Every able-bodied man left, right, Rosie the Riveter, exactly. Every able-bodied man went to war. The factories kept going. They built factories to create munitions and tanks and stuff like that to send to the front lines. Who was doing it? Women. So the world's not going to fall into despair and a hole if men disappear. You know what I mean? People are going to do what they need to do to get what needs to be done. Now, does that mean that, there are certain jobs that are better suited for a man of certain stature? Yes. But that doesn't include all men. There are some men who are not built for certain jobs. It has nothing to do with their gender. It has everything to do with their stature. So I just think we need to erase the idea that men do this and women do this. I think Jody made a great point. When you get into a relationship with someone, have a conversation. Have a conversation about expectations. Have a conversation about what you're willing to do. If you don't want the responsibility of doing what was traditionally women's work, then make sure you make that very clear and don't assume that he sees that you work 10 hours a day and you independent. I don't need no man for. No, say it. Look, I'm not cooking. So if you're looking for someone who can cook or who is willing to cook or wants to cook, I'm not your girl. And vice versa. My wife sometimes will say, I just feel so bad that you cook. Why? I love to cook. And, no disrespect, I burn. You know what I'm saying? So we don't have to fall into this space where we are doing things because we're confusing responsibilities with roles. I'll end there.
Can I just say that was excellent. You literally took the pieces that we were talking and brought it to the level of what it should be. Like the role of in a relationship, your role never changes. What we do within that role can interchange, but your role is I'm always going to be your protection. And I personally will submit to that. You know what I mean? I would like the role of a man, I strongly believe, should be there to be that guard, to be that protector. And a woman also has her role to protect her husband within that emotional realm, but also still be behind him. I'm 100% for that. You know what I mean? And I know people talk about that differently, but I love how you say that there is a role that you play, even regardless of your stature. I am 4'11", so I understand that aspect of everything. But regardless of your stature, even if you were the same height, I think that every man has probably, I'm not a man, but does have this protective feel over their women. And I think that, and if I said that wrong, it was not meant to be said in an ownership kind of way. I think as a single woman, you become a survivalist. You learn how to survive on your own. You are the breadwinner of your home. And I think that a lot of ideas come from women having to take care of themselves and having met men that probably didn't mean any good. So they've had to become that strong person. So living in that time where when you meet someone and having to break those walls down and really come to the understanding that when you come together with someone and you team together with someone, it is okay to surrender a part of that part of your life to someone in agreement. You know what I mean? Where you do work together as a partnership, as a unit. You know what I mean? And I can appreciate everything you said, Tony. It was so whole. You know, I look for that one day in Jesus' name.
Amen. Look at
I'm glad you said I submit to the desire to be a protector. You're not, we have this big conversation about submission, right? I'm not going to submit to a man. Okay, don't. But submit to his desire to protect you. Submit to his desire to love you. Submit to his desire to provide for you. And if that changes, stop submitting, right? The other thing I like is that you use the word surrender, which is an act of it is not a passive act. To surrender something is to make a decision to give something up, right? It's not being taken from you. You're giving it up. I always say when you meet a woman with walls, a lot of men want to tear down the wall with their chivalry and their manhood and their greatness. And, you know, I'm better than any man you ever met. Okay, you can't tear down my walls and still think I'm going to feel protected. Like Jody said, you have to understand that I've been in survival mode for the last 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. And now when you come in and you want to take these responsibilities because of a role you want to play, I don't know that you know how to do it. And it's not so much that I don't want to give it to you. It's that I'm not 100% certain that you can do it at the standard that I've set, right? So give me the opportunity to surrender. So when you meet a woman with walls, gentlemen, allow her to take the bricks down one by one. And how do you convince her to take the bricks down? You don't ask her. You show her. You show her with consistency. Nothing pulls a brick down faster than consistency, right? Consistency and patience. You're patiently waiting for her to take those bricks down. And ladies, when you take those bricks down, you put them on your side of the wall. You don't hand those bricks over to somebody else. That's not surrender. Okay. You're losing your protection. And that wall that you built was built for a reason. And don't get mad at yourself and don't let nobody talk you out of, you know, the need for that wall, because they weren't there when you felt that need. Whatever you went through that made you feel like I need to build this wall, no one was there because you built it by yourself. So you got to take it down by yourself, brick by brick. And when it comes down, you put the bricks on your side. He's consistent, take a brick down. He's doing the right thing, take a brick down. But as soon as he messes up, you put that damn brick right where it was. And don't get upset when the brick goes back up, fellas. Use it as a tool to understand that there are consequences for your actions. Where there is no consequence, there is no motivation for change, right? Nope. So there has to be a consequence. And if the consequence is that she retracts, don't go grabbing for her. My wife had this, and I'll shut up after this. My wife had this great analogy for how the best way to court her. And that is treat her like a kitty cat. And the idea was you can't just go and grab a cat because it's gonna get afraid because of the quick movement and the lack of autonomy that the cat has because you grabbed it. The cat doesn't have a choice, right? So instead, you just put your hand out there and you show yourself friendly until eventually the cat makes the decision to come a little closer, and then a little closer, and then a little closer. And then one day you can't get this damn cat out your lap. Because you built this trust that the cat knows it's safe, and it's made the decision on its own to surrender and submit to the safety, the safe environment that you created. I'll land there.
That is so true, because a woman will submit where she feels secure and loved, not because she cannot do it on her own, but because she wants to submit everything because of what he has given and shown her. I will listen. I'm not going.
I have a question though.
Submit that.
I have a question though. It's great, but I guess my question is, and this is my question to you as a man. You are doing everything right in the relationship to get her attention, and you're trying to be gentle with, trying to pick up the cat. I'm here for you. But I guess my question is, Some bricks might be too heavy and some bricks might need therapy. How do you know what bricks need therapy and what bricks don't? Because there's some things, there's some situations, and there's some traumas, and there's some relationship PTSD where you can't. You can't do that, because it's like, perfect example. I dealt with a narcissist before, heard it all, seen it. So I'm like, yeah, but so and so did this before. So it's like a comparison and a contrast. So how would you know certain bricks? That's not something you okay, yeah, he's taking down the bricks. Okay, yeah, I'm coming a little bit closer. Okay, but then what bricks need therapy? How would you know that? And how would you suggest that to someone?
So, and I'll yield this to one of the other fellas as well. But real quick, it's the brick that keeps popping up. It's the one that we thought we took down, but here we are talking about it again. At that point, you have to recognize. And again, I'm not taking any bricks down. I'm not doing anything. I'm allowing you to make these decisions. And if you take a brick down that you prematurely felt, you thought that it was safe to take this brick down, and then you decided, I don't know, I got to put that back. We all have choice, right? And we have to stop dating. Well, I'm not dating, but I had to stop dating as if I didn't have a choice. I had to stop going into relationships as if I couldn't just leave if I saw that this doesn't fit. And so many times we stay in situations that aren't a good fit because of our desire to be in a relationship, or our desire to not quit. I get the concept of not quitting, but I respect the concept of not starting, right? And that doesn't mean you're weak. It just means that you're not going to put yourself in a situation that you can't come out of. I was married to a woman who would not get therapy. And it doesn't matter what I did. It doesn't matter. All I did was trigger her all day long. And at some point I had to realize this isn't going to work. This brick isn't a brick. It's a boulder. And it's one that you're not even willing to address. And so for my own safety and sanity, I have to walk away. Does that make me a bad person? No, not at all. Now, what I wish I would have done was recognize that before I made the commitment. Because here's the thing, that boulder was always there. But me and my Superman cape, I said, I can take that down. I can fix that. And that's problematic. And a lot of men, we talked about this on a previous show, so I won't go back into it, but a lot of men have this mindset, I can fix you. And a lot of women have the same mindset, I can fix you. No, you can't. The only thing that's going to motivate me to change is desire. I don't care how fine you are. I don't care how good the sex is. I don't care if you can make sweet potato pie better than my mom. I'm not going to change until I have a desire to change. I'm not going to therapy until I have a desire to go to therapy. I'm not going to get saved until I have a desire to get saved. You could drag me to that damn church every Sunday, but I'm not going to get saved. And so we have to understand where does our power stop? So to answer your question, and I said I was going to be brief and I wasn't, but to answer your question, you know what can't organically come down because it keeps popping back up. Every time you get into an argument, you realize we're arguing about the same damn thing. We addressed this already. We apologized. We said we're going to fix it. And here it is again. This is beyond our capabilities. We need help. And help ain't your sister, your best friend, your mama, and it damn sure ain't some dude who thinks he's a therapist. Ladies, don't do that. Don't call your best boy your guy friend and try to make him don't do that. That's bad.
You know, I when I got divorced, I did therapy, which was one of the best things I'd ever done. But I had waited because I come from the culture of church. And I love God and I still have a relationship with God. But I think that the stigma of going to a therapist, when I had to call my dad and said, hey, Dad, I'm seeing a therapist. My dad's first question was, why? Just read your Bible, right? And I'm not in any way putting my father down because he's an excellent teacher of what he does. But at first, he did not understand the concept of me going to a therapist. It's not like there's nothing wrong. I'm not going crazy but I needed to speak with a therapist. And so when I started telling him, hey, we were discussing things from my childhood that were wrong in our household, he got really quiet and he started to listen to me and understand. And then he was like, wow, okay, I understand. I see. You know what I mean? It's not, and my therapist, it was, I don't know, it's like mental maintenance. If you think about it, we do need to have some sort of counsel throughout our lives because we go through daily things, just dealing with things on our own forever. And we never take a moment to stop and have that oil change, have that time where we actually tune up ourselves and get refreshed. And I do think that therapy is essential because a lot of us women and men have a lot of childhood trauma and we take it in our relationships. I have a friend, they've been married for 10 years, but it wasn't until like maybe 6 months ago that they were dealing with a trauma she had at 16 that was affecting their relationship. And it was something that they needed to talk about. It was something she never addressed as a young girl. And it's important. So my question is, after saying all of that, do boulders or bricks, do they all have to come down at the beginning? Or is it okay for them to come down over time?
It's when you talk about traumas is like you don't get rid of them, you just learn how to manage them. You learn how to manage them. When I sit with my clients, I'm a relationship life coach. When I sit with my clients, one of the greatest things that they come away with is the fact that they understand that in order to get help in a category, they have to go, as Tony Massey says, go outside of your normal source of information. You know what I'm saying? Because all your normal sources of information has made you the person that stands before you. That's you. So when you journey to get new information or how to take on this thing you're dealing with, when you go to a life coach, or if it's something more serious and you go to a therapist, they're going to give you an insight based on where you are right now, meaning that it's not good or bad. It's not right or wrong. We're trying to find out what is. What is the situation that you're dealing with? What are you feeling? What are you thinking? What's causing you to react this way? And don't you understand that you just simply making the decision to share your thoughts outside, like out loud, it has already leveled you up because you made the decision that I am going to do something about the situation that I'm in. So it's automatically going to level you up. Now, where do you go from there? You now have to lend yourself to perspectives that you now can pick and choose from on your own. See, one of the hardships of going to church is that you can hear an amazing service, but no one's going to be in your home teaching you how to practically apply the word of God that you just heard to your everyday situations. You're just not going to get that. So this is why when you hear a teaching, you're supposed to go back home, and Tony Watts could tell you, you got to go home and make it your own. You got to go home and work it so you can make it your own. You could assimilate it into all different facts and figures. So what you're going to do, once again, you're going to choose the things that are better for you. So you're going to lend yourself to new perspectives. You're going to lend yourself to the truth of the word, but it's still you that's going to be out there saying, okay, well, that's good for this. So now when you're dealing with the boulder, this huge boulder, and that a trauma, you're now trying to figure out how can I manage it? But it still comes back down to Tony Massey's word, consistency. Because as you deal with the boulder, and it keeps popping up, it keeps cropping up, what you're going to do is like, I can trust this dude with it. So I'm putting it up, but all right, I can trust this dude. He is showing me consistent habits that work for me. He is open to conversation. It's not like I'm coming into his life and now I have to conform to what's right for him because he's the man and I'm just a helpmeet. Ooh, remove the word just from a helpmeet. But let me complete my thought. So it's now getting involved in having a conversation and understanding as the peacekeeper of the home, because the role I need to play as a husband is to be a part of the peacekeeper. The peacekeeper is the one who's looking at the relationship for spots and ripples that he can see, and he's bringing it up first. He's taking the initiative and say, hey, I saw your facial expression when we were talking about that back in the car. What's going on there? Tell me your thoughts. But he's also the same guy that when he's now brought to light something that was throwing him off, that threw you off, you now bringing it to him. He's also saying, all right, well, now I'm not going to get in defensive mode, because if I'm going to lead, if I'm going to show, I want all the angles of what we're dealing with. You are going to come with me with a perspective that's going to show me an angle that I might not see in myself. And because I might not see it in myself, I am open to hear these different perspectives. Go ahead.
So I have a question. As a man, and Tony hit it earlier, and you're talking about it. You know, you said that the role of a man is to understand his emotional responsibility and how he should be, you know, instead of looking for a wife, he's looking to be a husband. How many men can you say have this mindset before getting married?
So I'm gonna jump in real quick because you guys are kind of skating on my territory a little bit. Let's deal with church first. Where I go to church at, we do therapy in church. We give people help that need help, that go through traumas. We make sure that happens. I'm a life coach as well. So that's what we do. And it always hurts my heart when I hear, you know, how we continually fail the community by not showing up in the spaces that we need to show up. God gave us the word for a reason, right? But the word is a life appliance thing. You have to apply it to your life. So my whole thing is the village, right? And in the village, you have, for lack of a better word, you have sages, people who have been around and understand certain things, and they pass that information down to the next generation and the next generation, and they're able to work things out. So if we were all in a communal home and Jody saw the young lady that was about 20, 25 years old treating her husband a certain way, right? Jody would pull that young lady over and tell her, listen, the way you're acting to your husband, you're pushing him away. You're not going to be able to communicate with him that way. My role would be to go to the young man. Sir, I see you guys just had a baby. Oh, she's not cleaning the house? Are you supporting her at all when you come home? What are you doing? That's how we get to these situations where we grow a community, because we have trusted individuals giving that information. And that's what we have lost. We have lost having people above us, our elders, being able to talk to us respectfully. And that's another thing, the problem in the church that we're addressing, is that just because I'm older doesn't mean I know more than you know. Just because I'm older doesn't mean your experience is not real. I need to shut my mouth, allow you to speak, listen to your experience, and go, I don't know. I've never handled that before. Let me get back to you with that. That's what we need to begin to do to build the community where we need to build the community. Going over to the bricks, and I'm just going to leave it alone because Tony said it perfectly. The bricks are yours. You pull the bricks down. And the reason why you don't give somebody your brick, because 9 times out of 10, they're going to throw it at you when they manage you. So you keep your brick. You keep your bricks. Your bricks are yours. When it comes to the boulders, right? The boulders are those traumatic experiences. It could be from the far left, sexual trauma. It could be you just ran into 14 different bad boyfriends, right? At some space and time, you have to change your mindset to say the next person that I'm dealing with or those people. And I have to come to a space where I allow those people to be themselves and be real with me. And I think, Shelby, you said your therapist put you on timeout for 2 years? Now that's very important. That is very, very important, because there's a stripping away that has to happen when you have boulders. There's a stripping away of self that has to happen. And what we don't like to do as human beings is we don't like to look at ourselves as being wrong or we did anything wrong. Every relationship, it was them. They did this, they did that. Until we get to that foundational point where I am to blame, I did that, then we begin to realize, wait a minute, and this is to Rick's point, that other person isn't me. That other person isn't the person that I broke up with. Just because they have some of the traits, that doesn't mean they are the same. So this is how we begin to heal ourselves. And we begin to heal ourselves, then we can get into real relationships. And that's why the therapist put you on a 2-year timeout, because she needed to have you dig with some things. I can only imagine what those sessions was like. No, not me. No, I do this. I pay the bills. I take care of this. I do that. I'm here. I'm the best thing that ever happened in the world.
No, it was actually eye-opening, the therapy sessions, because the first session was just crying. She was like, okay, I'm gonna let you get it out. And I'm just crying, oh my God, I can't believe he did this. And she said, what did you do? She was like, no, what did you do? And then everything I said negative about men, like men are trash, nobody's loyal, nobody's faithful anymore, marriage doesn't mean anything. Anything I said trash, I had to rewrite it in positive. Marriage is not marriage is loyal. And all that stuff. I studied the Bible. I had to interpret it into my own terms. I had to graduate from each chapter. She would tell me, I don't think you get it yet. Let's go back and do it again. And I'm like, girl, we doing this for the third time. And she was like, do it again. And I was like, okay. She had me write down every single person I dated, whether it was date, talk to, whatever it was. And I was just realizing what did this person have that this person have? And I had to do homework on real marriages. Not no Sierra and Russell Simmons and Gabrielle Union. I had to do real relationships. Like, she was like, tell me about your parents, your aunts and uncles. Tell me about that. I was just like, oh my gosh. And she was like, now this is what I'm talking about. And she was like, the ups and the downs. And it was a lot. And it was finding myself. I had to take myself out on dates and what I like, what I don't like. And it was a good time.
Nice. Yeah, so
can I ask the question to Shelby? How did coming to the realization, how did evaluating the men that you've dated impact your preferences as it relates to the men you would date? You understand the question?
The impact now is I'm more vigilant, and homegirl right here, as soon as there's a red flag, I'm out.
So wow. No, I get that part. That's to be expected. So you're more aware of the red flags. What I'm asking is, how does evaluating the men that you've dated in the past and whatever preferences led you to those men that allowed you to entertain them, has that been affected now that you see maybe the commonality between them? Are you more open to a different type of man, or are you looking for? Okay.
I had standards, honey. I still do. I'm not saying I don't, but my preference was, oh my God, no, I'm not doing that. Oh no, he's this. Oh no, strictly this. He has to be this. And I was like, my coach Tasha was like, and that's your problem. That's what you keep dating. And I was like, oh my gosh. So she was like, I need you to be more open. It doesn't, I don't care if he's not Morris Chestnut or whatever. She was like, Shelby, you need to date someone that is literally about your heart, about giving. And I was just like, oh yeah, and she was like, no. And I started to, I'm more open now. So if someone was to talk to me, I'm going to say, like, I was naive. I was like, I'm not talking to him. He's girl, did you see his teeth? Like, that stuff that's fixable, us women, and I know I'm not the only one, was picky about. Like, girl, did you see his shoes though? Oh, I can't talk to him. But he's going to treat you like a queen. So little things like that I did, I don't do anymore. I'm not the only one.
No, you're not the only one.
Yeah. So I just want to give the mic back to Derek because I can see his anxiety is just going through the roof because
I'm good.
so far off.
We almost at time. We good.
Derek is an
I'm just,
engineer, and we have changed the blueprints, and he's about to have.
Nah, you know me well.
But I like to do one. I like to do one quick thing, and I'm gonna try to make this brief and fast as possible. When we talk about helper or helpmate in the Bible, right? That whole submission thing is wrong. We're looking at it completely wrong. When God gave Adam Eve, he gave him a warrior. He gave him somebody to stand by him, not so he can step on her. So when everybody talks about submission, if it's not from the angle that Tony Massey talked about earlier, when you are freely giving because you're being freely given too. If I got to come home and you have to have the dishes clean and this washed and this done, that's not submission. That's slavery. There's a completely different thing there. So if you ever look up the word, right, helper or help in the Bible, I want you to look at what the Hebrew word is. And then I want you to go trace where the Hebrew word is found. And when you find the Hebrew word, you will find it that God shows up to help the children of Israel in battle. That's who he gave Adam. I'll land there.
Can I just say something? I feel like every submissive woman is strong in her own right because she knows who she is and she submits to her husband or partner or a husband. Because I feel like every woman in that position, in that role, has to be strong for her husband, for her helpmate. She has to pray for him. She has to uplift him. She has to guard him. She has to be that person that's on the wall. So I 100% agree with that. There is an exchange in submission. You know what I mean? I am submitting to you. There's a lot when people say when a woman's, depending on how she wants to submit to her husband, or you cannot. You look at that, there's a lot of power in that. You know what I mean? I think it's extremely powerful. It all depends on what he's exchanging to her and how he's extended himself to her. You know what I mean? Will lend how she's extending herself to him. So I 100% agree with what you're saying, Tony Watts, because intimacy, I feel, has so many levels.
But what you're saying is very important. Sorry, Rick, I'm just laying this real quick. What you're saying is important. People think that the word humble means that you're weak. No, it means that you're strong. It takes a strong person to surrender something to you. You're not taking it from me. I'm giving it to you. It takes a strong person to do that. Weak people fight back all the time. Weak people can't have no space for anybody else to be around them. They have to be in control. They have to take everything. They can't, there's no wiggle room for anything. That's what weak people do. Strong people understand the environment, read the room, and go, hey, this is not my area of expertise. You go handle that. Or this is not worth me getting upset about. This does not serve me. Or this serves the entire community, so I need to sit back and let John do what John does. It takes a person with strength to do that. So I'm gonna land that there.
So we're probably close to time now. We normally wrap at 9:30 unless y'all have any other extra comments.
No, can we see the video?
That's going to push us way past.
We good.
But I'll do it.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing to do.
All right, so let me run this last one. This is the toxic.
Translation: the Cowboys ain't playing tonight.
Translation heard. Translation heard. I'm just about to
the Cowboys lost last night.
You don't know my life.
Jody, don't make us dismiss you.
All right, so it's that loving obedience with the proper arrangement with deliberate decision. That's what submission is. Loving obedience with the proper arrangement and deliberate decision to do a particular thing. At no time should a woman come into play as a person that is weak, as Tony Watts says. Because think about the role of, say, a wife and the role typically of a mother. You're a lawyer, you're a counselor, you're a nurse, you're a doctor, think about all those positions you play extremely well, juggling as a woman of the house, juggling as someone who, with your husband or with your partner, discussed and detailed out what's best for both of you. It goes back to what Jody said in the very beginning. When you get into a relationship, you got to figure out what works for you. And if you don't have an environment where people can speak their truth, you're going to have these hiccups that just grow and grow and grow. These red flags that just never get dealt with. You have to continue to nurture your love. Once again, that understanding that love is defined as nurturing another into new possibilities, nurturing another into new possibilities. So when you connect with that person and you have these conversations and you detail things out, you got to expect that new things are going to come about out of this. So even if you have your preferences, as Shelby says, might have had those preferences in the past, she figures out that those preferences are not serving her. I might like that, but the reason why I like them, or what I get when I get that preference, it comes along with a bunch of stuff that's not exactly serving me. So what is my truth? I'm taking 2 years off to find joy, peace, and happiness on my own. So when I venture into my next relationship, what am I doing? I'm not looking for love. I'm not looking for them to be my joy. I'm not looking for them to bring me peace. I already have it. And now I'm going into a relationship looking who can add to this, who is able to add to what I already have. As I talk about love all the time, it's like you're already loved, especially those who believe in God. I'm already loved. So I'm just looking for opportunities to share my love, to display my love, to reveal my love. And I'm just looking for another person to do the same. But it's all about the environment that I'm setting up that's going to allow this exchange of love, this revealing of love to take place.
We're
So
going to do
I
a
have to
dating
ask
show.
this. Oh, I'm sorry.
I said we're going to do a dating show. We're going to get Rick a helmet.
That sounds good to me.
Well, I was gonna ask really quick, because obviously I'm single and I'm dating later in life, but I think that this is great. But again, I do lend to the question of how many people are really working on themselves on both ends. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if I'm doing the work and he's doing the work, and I can healthily.
I got you there. I got you, Jody. Attraction. You will attract according to the frequency you operate on.
That's true.
So, I mean, does that kind of sum up everything real quick?
You're right. You're right.
When Shelby, this after 2 years, Shelby ain't attracting those dudes anymore. It's matter of fact, the shoes, what if those shoes came from hard ass work is why his shoes look the way they look. And you would love to have someone that puts in that type of work. When you, like I said, when you make the decision to find out more, to find out your whys, you have to understand that you have already removed yourself from the level that you were already operating on. Because once you have a desire to know whys and to do something about it, you're already leveling up. Now your frequency is coming from a place of new understandings. And here's the cool thing about understandings. They're your choice. You're choosing to say that's the better way to go. You're choosing that's a better way to look at it. You're choosing that's a better way to do it. And then when you operate from that position of truth, your own truth, not truth that someone talked you into it. Remember, it's you removing the brick and putting it down on your side. It's now you operating from that new place of truth now allows you access to men and women that you have never had access before. The reason why, if you ask that question, where would be those guys, is because you removed yourself from their presence. They're no longer available to you. You can't, and where would those guys be? As you level up, you're going to find yourself accessing those guys that you didn't even know was available to you. Where you rise, they shall be. Where you run, they will be. That's the mindset you have. As I'm running, I don't have to slow down to let this dude catch up with me. Just keep running, baby. Just keep running. And he's going to meet you pacing. He's going to meet you at that pace.
So I disagree with one thing, and that is you are always going to attract all types of men. It's what you entertain that's what's going to change. And you have to understand, and all women have to understand this, you are not going to find a perfect man. And if you do, you're going to ruin them with your imperfections. So you have to find a man that you are willing to accept, and a man who is willing to submit to your So there are things about me that my wife has fundamentally changed for the good. But she had to create an environment where I was willing to submit to the idea of those changes. I always wondered, why did God create Adam and form him in the dirt, but didn't repeat that process for Eve? And it makes sense to me that what he created was the first of something, but he wasn't going back to the earth to create another man or even another being. He needed to create something that was tailor-made for what he's already created. So if he created something new that wasn't tailor-made for what he already created, then there would have been, well, who are you? I came from the dirt just like you came from, you know what I'm saying? So when we come together,
we fit.
You have to realize, if you and I are dating, you're not walking around with my rib. You weren't tailor-made for me. Right. So there's going to have to be some hewing and some carving and some, there's going to have to be some change that's going to happen in order for us to be more compatible with one another. But don't expect me to be perfect. Don't expect me to be healed. Don't expect me to be even on the path. All you can expect is that I have enough desire for you that I'm willing to submit to the idea of what it is you want in a man. Now, here's the problem. Most of us, I was guilty of this too, are walking around dating, having no idea what we want. We have an idea of what looks good. He's got to be like, they're saying it in the comments, he got to be 5'10". And what? What else? You know what I mean? What else?
No, but that's true. I feel like as you date, you begin to understand what you want and what you don't want. Because I was married. I was married for so long. So when I started in the dating scene, I had no idea what. I was like, dating right now? Really? It's ancient to me. It's weird. I've been, that I don't want to talk about my history, but I think that for me, if I can relate to what you're saying, Tony, is that I didn't really understand different things until I experienced certain things. And I go, wow, that's not what I want.
I am so grateful for the relationships that didn't work out, because I found an amazing woman. I'm so grateful for the people that came in my life and made it clear, I'm not right for you. And this is why I tell young brothers, don't get mad at no. No is a gift. When a woman says no, hey, can I take you out? No, thank you. Thank you for not wasting my time. Thank you for not wasting my money. Thank you for not wasting, you know what I mean? Thank you for not allowing me to emotionally invest in someone who is not attracted to me. That's why, that whole height thing, that used to really bother me until I realized that, I am a preference of someone. So stop trying to defeat someone's preference and just wait for the person who prefers me, right? But I would never have learned that had I not gotten out there and experienced what I don't want. And it only made it easier for me to recognize what I did want. When she came in my life, I was like, boom, there it is. Because I knew what I didn't want. I seen so many bad examples of what a woman should be. When this immaculate example showed up, I was like, hey, that's it right there. I'm good. But if you never go out there and you never put yourself out there, then you have no idea what you want, what you don't want, what you tolerate. All you know is you got to be 6 feet. And then what?
We're gonna show that video.
Yeah, go ahead, Derek. I'm sorry, man.
We gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up. This was a good show, good dialogue, and we're glad that we had the ladies here to chime in and really add a lot of value to the convo. And everybody in the comments, I see the comments scrolling, and we thank you guys for coming back every single week. Make sure that well, actually, let's do this. We'll have the ladies do any last thoughts, and then let us know how we can find you if you want to be found. So we'll start with Shelby.
Yeah, it was great chatting with you guys. I had a ball. My name is Shelby Patrice, and I can be found on Facebook, Shelby Patrice, Instagram, Shelby Patrice _, and then there's Budget University is my business page. So you can find me on all of those outlets, social media, Facebook, Instagram, and I'm new to TikTok. So yeah, that's it.
Cool.
Bye, guys.
All right, Jody, you're up.
I am looking to be found in many more ways than one. So, amen. I'm open to it. Find me. Amen. No, but you can find me on social media, JODEEVIDS, Jody Vids. I'm a content creator, so you can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, for any reason at all. And then if a man of God is out there and you're looking, you can also find me as well.
All right, gentlemen, anybody have anything they want to add as far as like anything you got going on this week or any additional comments?
I have a Veterans Day show on Thursday. The Gun to Man show is honoring veterans that night. I have a veteran coming on that does a lot for, I think, the Southern Florida area. So you might hear some things that's kind of familiar to you. So Veterans Day, Thursday night, 7:30 at Gun to Man or Rick Gunter Jr. On Instagram as well as Facebook.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Tony.
You on mute.
Tony, you're on mute.
Sorry, I had to pull it up. My book, A Man's Guide to a Successful Affair, is on Audible. My book is on Audible. I'm trying to show it to you, but I can't. A Man's Guide to a Successful Affair finally got approved, so it's an hour and 9 minutes, I think. So if you like audio books, go to Audible, download it. It's only $7, and learn all of the mistakes that men make in their attempt to have a successful affair. Thank you so much.
Nice. So
Congrats, bro.
Outside of Real Shop Talk, come here every Monday. You see it scrolling down at the bottom. You can find all of our content and platforms there. But Mondays, I need some more subscribers. I need some more people to show up Monday morning. Monday Wake Up. Myself and Jen Hurt, we bring you inspiration. We get your week set, your day set for the week. This week we talked about the 5-second rule and how that can apply to your life. Next week she'll have a young lady on that's going to talk about skincare, how to get up in the morning, take care of your face, take care of your body, take care of your skin. We're gonna handle that. So just come check us out. Monday Wake Up. We do amazing things at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not going to tell you what podcast we're on because I want you to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning and feel the rejuvenation of life run through your body that early in the morning. Also, we're having a contest on that platform. We're having a contest. November's challenge is this. You can email us at info@mondaywakeup.com, info@mondaywakeup.com. You just send us an email stating what your November mission is. You could be writing a book. So I'm going to write 3 chapters a week. That could be your goal. Your goal could be, I'm going to walk an extra mile. That could be your goal. And And then when you listen to Monday Wake Up, Jen always gives a code of the day, of the week. You emails that code as well. We need you to subscribe to Monday Wake Up on Facebook. We need you to subscribe for Monday Wake Up on Instagram, and also subscribe to Triumphant TV. That is my main page. And once you do all those things, let us know. Continue to show up. The prize this month is $100. Love Tucker, who's in the chat, she won the $50 gift card from last month, and she played it forward. So we're about that business of making you smile, getting you be about your day and make some positive things happen. So join us. And also, you got to come back to Real Shop Talk. Next week, we're going to shake some grounds. So tell the manosphere and the womensphere we're coming.
And as usual, you can go to relationshipgumbo.info and check out all of my stuff. Everything's there. Go to realshoptalk.net and check out everybody's bio on here. I don't know if you got anything to say, John Singletary.
Did you just have my page up, Tony?
Legs for
It was a
days.
pleasure.
I was
also
trying to support you, but you gonna ruin my relationship with. I can't. I knew. I'm gonna follow you, but I ain't gonna like none of your pictures.
And real quick. And we do this with everybody, ladies. So just real quick and listen closely. Because you're on the platform, you're now part of our village. So if you want to reach out to us about anything, reach out to us. If you want to talk about anything, reach out to us. All right. And the people in the comments also have platforms. They might invite you guys on as well too. And I'm definitely going to get back to Shelby about budgeting, because we need to have that get conversation in our communities of how to teach our kids how to budget and rock their money. So I just want to let you guys know you're now part of the building.
We are all about collaborating, not competing.
It was such an honor to be here with you guys. You guys are amazing. And thank you so much for the life and the words that you guys gave tonight. It was very fulfilling, very fulfilling. Thank you.
All right, guys. I think that's it. Everybody that's in the comments and everybody who will watch the replay, make sure you come back every Monday at 8 p.m. We're here every single week with some amazing content and some amazing guests. So on that note, we're out of here. Y'all have an amazing rest of your week and weekend.